I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags, and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's February 13th, 2020. I'm Eric. Military times, your military. Really, it's not the people's military. It's more like United Fruit's military. It's Monsanto Baer's military. It's Procter & Gamble's military. It is the Federal Reserve's military. It is Israel's military, but it is not our military, because if it were, they would be honoring their oath to protect the Republic from enemies, both foreign and domestic. It seems to me that most of the foreign enemies we have were, probably wouldn't have been enemies had it not been for our politicians. But U.S. military prepping for coronavirus pandemic. This one is from, Patricia Kim, maybe? June 7, 2020. This is a little bit old, huh? But an executive order was issued by the Joint Staff and approved by Defense Secretary Mark Esper this month, directed North Command and Geographic Combatant Commanders to initiate pandemic plans, which include ordering commanders to prepare for widespread outbreaks and confining service members with a history of travel to China. Now, there's many pieces of legislation currently awaiting in the shadows. And there's already some legislation that's been passed. Remember the other day I talked about how people were starting to refer to this as the biological 9/11. And it's funny they should refer it to it as that, because conveniently there are stacks of bills giving government sweeping new powers to take control over every aspect of our lives. You think they micromanage us now? Oh, you haven't seen shit yet. And I say this every video lately. I've been saying it every video because, the news and politicians use this technique to repeatedly say something over and over again. That way it really sticks, right? So I'm going to say this again. If it were not for these giant corporations, our big governments, the empires, most of the world's problems we are currently experiencing, including pollution on a mass scale, including all these wars. Yeah, sure, tribal warfare would exist, but it wouldn't have the capability to kill all life on planet without the money that's put behind nuclear weapons and bioweapons. Money from people like Bill Gates and the Rockefeller Foundation and all these other places. Let's see here. The document serves as the Pentagon's blueprint for planning and preparing for widespread dispersion of influenza and previously unknown diseases. U.S. Northcom said Wednesday it was directed or has directed. They kind of worded this screwy. The U.S. North Command said Wednesday it has directed the Joint Staff February 1st to commence prudent planning in their assigned role, synchronizing the department's plan for pandemics, flu, and disease. So, if these people are taking it serious, and if they're not, if they're doing this for more nefarious purposes, simply to seize more control and power over the people, that is a very good possibility. Pretty good possibility. I'm not saying that this virus isn't real. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that maybe it's a lot of it's contrived, meaning it was intentionally brought here, meaning they knew about it for a while. I mean, it's funny how certain people know about these events before they happen, and they say as much, and nobody seems to pay attention. But I digress. Let's see here. And here we are, Zero Hedge, Tyler Durden, new update. Of course, I've mentioned this in my earlier video, but this will be quick. Japan reports the first virus death. President Xi says China will minimize impact from virus. No, they can't minimize the impact from the virus. They just can't. There's a whole month and a half, roughly, that people were traveling around, getting on these cruise ships, flights from here to Timbuktu, and so they really can't minimize the impact from this virus. Chinese leadership scapegoats local officials. Death toll and case count soared last night. There are more than 60,000 cases worldwide and more than 1,300 deaths, rather. EIA joins OPEC in warning about upcoming drop in oil use, the first in a decade. HHS Secretary says CDC will announce another confirmed COVID case, or ninja virus, or V201, or whatever you want to call it, in the U.S. on Thursday. 21 people in Spain are released from quarantine. U.S. administration reportedly questions China's reporting. White House reportedly doubts China's coronavirus numbers. CDC warns more infections possible after first U.S. case confirmed in Texas. And that was the 15th. The 15th overall. 2 Russian women attempt to escape from quarantine. EU could close borders if outbreak worsens. Kudlow says U.S. disappointment in China virus response. Not long after reports claimed the White House is widely skeptical of Chinese numbers, Trump's top economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, appeared on television to say the U.S. is disappointed in how China has handled the virus response. and that the Trump administration wishes there was more clarity. So, and there are other people covering in depth all of the legislation out there for these types of emergencies. I'm not going to cover them in depth, but I will say that their plans are thorough, nefarious, and they have a loophole for themselves at every turn. These people do not want you to be healthy. They want you to be dumbed down, sterilized, and enslaved, and in other cases, dead. It really depends on how good you are as a pet. Do you like being a pet? Do you like being a tax cattle? Do you really? Because that's what they see you as. All you people who think Donald Trump is some good guy, you're about to see Trump's true colors when he realizes this shit is everywhere. It's everywhere. It has to be. That's the only logical explanation, or conclusion, rather. Again, these people were able to travel from December 1st all the way until past the announcement that there was a virus spreading in the first place. And there's just the likelihood that there weren't sick people on these flights and going on these cruises and going to crowded places. It's just not realistic. It's realistic to think the worst. It really is. I'm going to tell you right now, my stomach hurts. And it doesn't do that over nothing. And I'm not sick. It's not sickness. It's something completely different. Like your intuition. Anyway. Folks, prepare. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you what to buy. I don't have shit to sell you. But I can tell you, prepare. Prepare every way you can possibly prepare. I hope everyone has a great day, and until next time, kill the state, live free.